that hundreds of new arrivals are sleeping inside police stations. As you step into this police station on the south side of Chicago, the first thing you see is not the typical hustle and bustle of law enforcement, but rather dozens of Venezuelan migrants, including young children, sheltering outside and inside the station's tiny entryway.
¿Quién necesita una cobija, sí?
Local volunteer and social worker Britt Hodgson has been checking in with them daily for the past 2 weeks, handing out blankets and socks,
¿Cuál tamaño?
breakfast and coffee, and checking on everyone's medical needs.
¿Cómo está la salud? Los pies, garganta, ¿qué tienes?
Today, she brought along a friend who is a nurse to examine migrants with respiratory illnesses and other issues. 2 families with young kids have been sleeping here for nearly 2 weeks.
They're really in a very small, tight space with heat really blowing to kind of hold the building heat in. So they're particularly poor conditions.
Hodgson is part of a group of 120 volunteers caring for migrants sleeping in police stations across Chicago. She blasts city officials for relying so much on everyday citizens.
What we're doing essentially is serving as a small local government right now in lieu of the city government and our officials who have been called to action and have not yet taken it.
According to volunteers, more than 400 migrants and counting are sheltering in nearly every police station across the city, and they fear the situation could get worse with a larger influx.
This crisis is not only exhausting our city's resources, but it's flat out dangerous.
On Tuesday, outgoing Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot declared a state of emergency, blaming Texas Governor Greg Abbott for, quote, inhumanely sending migrants to the Windy City as a political stunt. Governor Abbott has been busing migrants to Democratic-led cities as a challenge to President Biden's border policies. Since August, over 8,000 have arrived in Chicago. Currently, most are sent to police stations until the city can place them in shelters.
Las condiciones no son muy agradables porque se duermen en el suelo, pues, ¿me entiendes? Pero la atención ha sido muy agradable de parte de los ciudadanos y del apoyo. Y también del apoyo a la policía también.
Alexander Antonio Lopez Luna, who's been sleeping at the station for 2 nights, trekked from his home country of Venezuela to the U.S. to seek asylum. He says he came to Chicago by bus on his own because he heard the city is a good place for migrants to start a new life and find work.
Ojalá todos consigamos cómo quedarnos aquí.
Other cities like New York, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and Denver are also dealing with growing migrant crises.
We're running out of resources rapidly.
Most families that I host,
Back in Chicago,
they have to stay here for 2 months, for 3 months, for 1 semester.
Ana Gil Garcia, the director and founder of the Illinois Venezuelan Alliance, has been taking matters into her own
Stephanie
hands.
tells us she boarded a free bus in Texas because she thought Chicago had a refugee camp. Some of us have been here weeks, she said. She told us she's desperate for a job to support her 1-year-old son back in Venezuela. The Texas governor says he will continue busing migrants to sanctuary cities to relieve border towns. Tonight, a DHS assessment team is here in the city.
All right, let's rewind the tape. Remember when the whole migrant issue first came to Chicago? Buses started pulling up like it was a surprise school field trip, except nobody knew where they were going. Folks got dropped off in the middle of winter like, oh, so this is the Windy City? Nah, that's not wind. That's Mother Nature slapping you across the face for moving here in January. At first, Chicago was like, we got this. We're a sanctuary city. The mayor was smiling. There were press conferences, balloons, the whole vibe of we'll welcome everyone with open arms. It felt like the start of a Disney movie. Fast forward 6 months later, and the vibe switched up real quick. Chicagoans were like, wait a second. We're out here arguing about potholes. My rent just doubled, and now y'all dropping off whole busloads like it's Amazon Prime delivery? Even the pigeons in Chicago started looking annoyed. Man, we already fighting for space at the train stations? Now we got competition.
Will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaigned, you campaign and double down that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want to forensic.
Ma'am, I would ask that you keep your, hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time. Just a second. Stop her time. Ma'am, I would ask that you, if you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate, okay? All right.
Alex.
Okay, you can begin her time again.
You're going to spend our tax dollars to go, Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool, because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's going to ride? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
This was going to happen to you. You got Kash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment. Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Mr. Brandon Johnson, I'm up here. I am speaking right now, so I would love your undivided attention, please. I'll wait. So this just proves to you the lack of leadership that you show in this city. You can't even give me straight eye contact. Now, I'm gonna let you know now, the people of Chicago, we're done with you. It is insane how we have been voting Democrat for over 60 plus years, and we've never seen a change from people like you, Lori Lightfoot, Robbie Emanuel. It is insane. Chicago was 37% red. In 2020, it was only 15%. So we're waking up. So you can pretend that this isn't happening, but I know for a fact that you will not have that seat the next election.
You so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens.
I got a great way how we can, what we can do with this budget. First, let's start with cutting off illegals, getting free everything. Free housing, free schooling, free food. Yeah, let's start with that. That'll save us a lot of money, what, $600 million? Let's start there. Then let's start with your salary. You are going down in history as the worst mayor in America. Let's start with cutting yours.
And then the plot twist of the year, Chicago. Yes, Chicago. This starts leaning red. People who've been voting blue since the Clinton saxophone era suddenly out here like, you know what? I'm going to give this Trump guy another listen. Let me explain how wild that is. Chicago going red is like Kanye West suddenly apologizing to Pete Davidson. It just doesn't make sense. It's like the Cubs winning 2 World Series in a row. It's like seeing deep dish pizza in New York City, illegal and highly suspicious. But people are frustrated. They're like, look, I signed up for deep dish pizza and corrupt aldermen, not for my neighborhood being the new Greyhound terminal. And the red wave talk starts bubbling. You got folks in Southside bars whispering, pissed, I might vote Republican this year. And the bartender's like, shh, say that again and I'm cutting you off. This is a Miller Lite establishment. So, of course, Trump sees all this and jumps in like it's open mic night. He goes, Chicago is a disaster, total disaster, believe me. Nobody knows disasters better than me, except maybe the Cubs. And then he takes aim at all the other big city mayors who supported migrant policies. These mayors, they love it. They're asking for more. They're saying, please, sir, may I have another bus, like Oliver Twist, but instead of soup, it's charter buses pulling up at 3 a.m. Meanwhile, the mayors are like, hold on, that's not what we said. We said we want compassion. We didn't say turn our city into a Motel 6 with unlimited check-ins. It's comedy at this point. Trump paints the picture like every Democrat mayor is standing on the corner waving buses down like taxi cabs. Excuse me, driver. 3 more over here, please. Thank you. And then we get to Brandon Johnson, Chicago's mayor. Trump says he's sending in the National Guard. Brandon Johnson said, "Oh, no, you don't." My man grabbed a pen faster than LeBron grabs a basketball in the last 2 minutes. Signed an executive order like he was doing autographs at Comic-Con. He basically told the guard, "Nope, you can't sit with us. This ain't Mean Girls. You're not invited to the lunch table." Picture this. The National Guard shows up in tanks at City Hall, and Brandon Johnson is standing there with his clipboard like a bouncer at the club. "Sorry, fellas, you're not on the list. Come back next weekend. Maybe we'll have space." Chicago literally told the U.S. military, "We're good. Thanks, though." That's bold. Usually people tell the military, "Thank you for your service." Chicago told the military, "Nah, we'll call you if we need help moving."
You framed it quite well. And quite frankly, the reason why this executive order is so paramount is because even though we know that this president is behaving outside of the bounds of the Constitution, it hasn't stopped him, but it stops in Chicago. And so this is about making a very clear distinction between what our law enforcement engages in versus what federal agents engage in. Because look, we have collaborated before, particularly getting guns off the streets of Chicago, the trafficking of drugs, the trafficking.
So here we are, Trump threatening to roll in troops, Chicago saying nope, and regular Chicagoans just trying to figure out if the trains will still be delayed. Honestly, it feels less like politics and more like a new Netflix show, Law & Order Migrant Unit, starring Donald Trump as the angry dad, Brandon Johnson as the stubborn principal, and the National Guard as the substitute teachers nobody asked for. So, what do you think is going to happen in Chicago? Comment below, and I'll make sure I respond to all comments. Whether you like it or hate it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you got a viral video you want me to talk about, type it below or send it to me on Twitter at DayRealGossip21. Like, share, and subscribe.